Hi everyone, and welcome to the Book Refuge. Today I have a very special video for you, as well as a very special guest. My friend Jonathan, who, if you'll remember, if you're astute viewers, I dedicated a video to him a couple weeks ago, and I begged and pleaded to please make this video with me, and he graciously is here. He's not as big of a fanboy as I'm a fangirl, but we shall see how intense this conversation gets as we go along. So, say hi to my bookish friends, Jonathan.
Yeah. Great to be here. Yeah.
Jonathan doesn't read anything, but we like Marvel movies, so
yeah,
that's the connection.
I really don't have anything in common with Jenn except our love of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes, yes. And Jesus.
And Jesus. Yeah.
Always a good plug. It's how you make good friends. So, anyway, okay, well, we want to go over a couple ground rules real quick. Number one, there will be spoilers for all 22 movies. We probably won't go as in depth into all of them, but I'm especially warning you because there will be Endgame spoilers. We're going to talk about the Endgame. We're going to spoil the Endgame because the reason why it's at the place it is on my list is because of some spoilers. So just know that there's spoilers for this. Don't expect to get away. I don't know. I feel like that's it. So we're going to dive into this. We're, of course, going to start at the bottom and go to number one. And we're going to break it up into sections. So we'll do our bottom 7, tell each other what they are, and then work our way up, doing them in groups of 5 from there. So, you ready to do this?
Let's go.
Your list that you made 20 minutes ago?
Yeah, I just want to...
You should maybe
How
explain.
many hours did you spend crafting your list?
Yeah,
Total.
that's a good thing. So, I originally, when I asked him to do this, I made a list of all the movies, and then I went through and I took notes on all of them and gave them a ranking. So I watched at least 10 of them over again and gave them scores that then helped me rank them. So I probably put in like 30 hours to this, but you were rewatching some of them too.
I didn't spend 30 minutes on this.
No.
I did this all in the grocery store parking lot like 10 minutes ago. But I've seen all these movies, and that's true. I did.
Yeah,
before
you
Endgame
rewatched
came
them.
out, I watched the Phase 3, most of Phase 3. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're a lifelong Marvel fan.
Yeah.
That was actually one of the questions I meant to ask. So before we get into this, was like what your first Marvel experience was, just to
That's a good question.
switch it up a little bit.
Marvel experience or MCU experience?
Well, MCU. Do you
MCU.
have a Marvel experience beforehand?
No.
Okay, then. That's what I meant. That's what we're talking.
Well, I mean, like the original, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies.
Oh.
And I love Tom Holland, but Tobey Maguire, still my boy. Yeah, I don't know. I was in high school when Iron Man came out, so
Okay.
I remember seeing it.
Yeah, the first one I ever went to see, which I'd seen Iron Man on DVD, but my sister and I went to see Thor together the night that I graduated high school, and I actually skipped out on Grad Blast, skipped out on pictures with my family, which I now regret a little bit, but I skipped out on all those things and went to see Thor, and it was awesome. He is worthy. Haha, there we go. Here we go. Okay, that's enough. This video is going to be super long, so definitely get some popcorn, settle in, get ready to argue with us or for us, because
For me.
yeah, definitely we are not going to agree, because we're not going to agree, and it's going to be fun. That's why I asked him to do this. So, also, if you hear any random giggling or laughs, our friend Allison is here to just watch the show of us filming this. So, anyway, all right. I think I'll let you go first since you're the guest. So, take me through 22 to 16 for you.
Yeah, I'm excited about this because I think number 22 we might actually
Agree?
agree.
Okay.
We not to give any more, but I think we probably agree on number 22 and
number one. Yeah.
And everything in the middle is
This is going to be where things don't go well. Okay.
But so for me, I think these first 7, 22 through 16, I don't have a lot of strong feelings on as far as like their rankings within this section, you know? Like,
I agree.
There's not a lot that separates number 22 and number 16 for me.
Okay.
And also, I feel like I should also just say all the movies in the MCU I like, you know? So number 22 is still like, I enjoyed that movie. There's nothing in here that I hate. But number 22 for me is The Incredible Hulk. Ant-Man. Number 21 is Ant-Man.
Ooh!
I know. Controversial. Number 20 is Doctor Strange, which I was really surprised about because I love Benedict Cumberbatch. But yeah, Doctor Strange just doesn't do a lot for me. Number 19, Thor: The Dark World. Number 18, Thor. Pretty interchangeable there. Number 17, Iron Man 2. And then go through 16, right?
Yeah. Was that 16?
No, that was 17. 16 is Captain Marvel.
Ooh, okay. Okay, well, I'll tell you mine and then we'll discuss.
Okay.
Okay, so my 22, The Incredible Hulk. Now, surprise. 21, Captain Marvel.
Wow.
And we'll talk.
That's
Number 20.
I knew you hated it.
I hate it. The only reason that it's above The Incredible Hulk is because I didn't watch The Incredible Hulk. I probably would have put it higher if I'd watched it. Anyway, number 20, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Number 19, Thor 2. Number 18, Iron Man 2. Number 17 is Ant-Man. And number 16, Captain America, the First Avenger.
Ooh, okay.
I knew he was going to be
I was
so
literally
mad.
just thinking, there's a lot of overlap here. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't going to be very contentious. And then you did that. And then, can I say where it...
No, don't say it.
Okay.
Don't say it.
He's
Well,
much
we'll just
higher.
discuss this.
Much,
so
that is much,
we,
much higher.
we do have some overlap. I think most people agree. Like, on a lot of these videos I've seen that, like, the Iron Man and Thor 2s are in
Yeah.
the bottom.
Yeah.
However, because I have some notes that I took about them, I was surprised by how much I actually did like them and just didn't remember what happened. Like, there's some significant things that happen in Iron Man 2. Like, we meet Nick Fury and Black Widow for the first time.
Yeah. And isn't that when Don Cheadle took over for
Yeah.
the first guy?
Yeah, and there was a lot of things in it that I was sharing before we started filming that I like cried in a lot of these movies. And I'm one of the reasons in movies that gives me lots of feels is whenever like the military is portrayed in a really awesome way. And there's some cool scenes like in both in both Captain America the First Avenger, of course, and then Iron Man 2 where like the military is shown in a really cool light, and that just gives me the feels because I feel like those are our real life heroes, and a lot of attributes we like about these heroes come from that. Not to get too deep, but that's a feel for me. So
I'll also say one thing that I really like about Iron Man 2 is Sam Rockwell's villain, Justin Hammer. So enjoyable.
He is.
Every scene that he's in, he just... I think he's funny.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, he's the poor man's Tony. Like,
Yes.
he's Tony if Tony was still doing it for money.
That's true.
You know, like, he's not purposely trying to hurt the world. He's just like, hey, I want you to make me the best suit so I can be better than Tony. And he just pairs with a super villain.
And I think a fair criticism of the MCU is that they don't have a lot of strong villains, but
Oh, yeah.
Justin Hammer is certainly one of the more memorable villains.
Okay, well, let's... I will talk about, like, I really like the first Thor, so I'm a little hurt that that's so low, because we talked about this. I think it deserves a higher rating just for Loki alone. Speaking of villains not being super great, Loki, besides Thanos, is in the most movies being villainous. I mean, he, you know, won't talk about some things later on yet, but anyway, so that's one of my contentions with that. With your list.
Loki, you and I just disagree on I enjoy Loki, but he also infuriates me, and I don't.
He's so great.
I don't know. You don't have maybe like the physical attraction going on.
Oh my god!
I don't think that's a spoiler. I mean, Jen is like obsessed with Tom Hiddleston, so I don't know. I don't. Loki doesn't do it for me, you know.
Captain America was as high as he is for that America's ass. I'm just saying. He would have been lower. That's a spoiler for Endgame, so, you know. Anyway. But yeah, I have both the Ant-Mans in the bottom for me. My reason for Ant-Man and the Wasp being so low, which I just watched this for the first time last week, is the fact that it was a great movie, but I feel like the stakes aren't high enough for where we are in the MCU. And I've heard a lot of criticism like that was like a phase 2 or 1 movie, not a phase 3, not a movie to put out after we've just watched all of our loved ones turn into dust. To me, it should have been, I don't know, like like that should have happened halfway through, and he was like in the quantum realm dealing with stuff. I don't know, but so that's why it was so low for me. Is I rated these pretty heavily on their relevance into the MCU, and for me, it was fun. Like, I love Luis; he's a great character. I love Ant-Man; he's so lovable and just a great guy. But I just couldn't put that higher up when. What relevance did it serve until the end credit scene?
Right.
You know, I mean, I guess the quantum stuff becomes really important, but
yeah, I guess that is exactly my quibble with both Ant-Man films.
Yes.
And that
Yep.
they're
Same.
funny, enjoyable, good movies, but when you're ranking them within
these,
the MCU, then they just kind of pale in comparison to higher stakes characters.
And let's talk about Captain Marvel. Just quickly.
Oh boy.
Obviously, yours is higher. We'll see where yours is at. It infuriated so much. And you can watch other people's reviews if you'd like a real rant about it. But literally when I was rating this movie, I just kept like, and I don't like this, and I don't like this, and you're such a brat. And I felt nothing for her. I felt for Nick Fury, who's the best part of that movie. And I felt for the non-villains, the Skrulls. Like, I've shared, like, that was the most emotional moment for me. Is Ben Mendelsohn's moments as that guy. And the fact that this movie is named after you, and I don't feel anything for you, I don't want you here. And I love that she ended up not really having anything to do in Endgame. I was very afraid from the marketing that she was going to be, like, the savior. And Brie Larson probably thinks she's a savior. But she's not. There have been powerful women before you, and there will be after you. And I could name 10 other more wonderful people in the MCU than you. Women. Just saying. Okay? That enough? Okay.
Yeah, I maybe don't feel as strongly about this as you do, but I didn't love Captain Marvel, and that's probably, I just didn't get excited about Captain Marvel, the character. I love Nick Fury.
You love Nick Fury, yeah.
He was by far the best part of that movie.
He's so good.
And I loved the Skrulls, everything that you said. And I just enjoyed the film. I loved the 90s sort of vibe, you know. It took me back to my childhood a little bit. But it's cool to see Blockbuster Video.
Jonathan's very old.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a whole 2 years older than me. He's ancient.
Wise. Exceedingly wise. That's why she brought me in for this. But I mean, I enjoyed Captain Marvel as a film, but Captain Marvel, the character, I just didn't get excited about.
Yeah. Let's see what else I want to touch on. And I will say this in defense of where I put Captain America. And I was going to say this when I started my list.
There's no defense.
I know, but I'll explain. I, from 16 up, love every movie I'm about to talk about. Okay? Really, the bottom 5 are kind of what you said. They're just interchangeable at the bottom for me. Quit peeking!
Sorry,
my gosh! You just totally peeked at it.
Well, I couldn't remember if you had 16 or 17.
And so that's why for me, even though on rewatch, I was much more into it than I remember being. Because, I mean, it had been 7 years since I'd seen that film. And I just forgot how lovable he is and blah, blah. And Peggy. I love Peggy. And we'll talk about that later. Okay? We'll talk about it later. Let's see. What else did you have on the bottom of yours? What did you say? I think we had the same ones except.
Yeah.
And you put...
Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised.
What's the reason for that?
I was surprised when I went through these that Doctor Strange didn't make it higher on the list for me, but Doctor Strange is one of the ones that I rewatched fairly recently, and I expected to enjoy it more than I did. I think the reason that I haven't enjoyed it as much is the magician, the Doctor Strange superhero power stuff is confusing to me. I don't really understand the magic stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really understand it, and especially the whole little subplot with what's Tilda Swinton's character?
The Ancient One.
Yeah.
I love that character.
Tilda Swinton is great, but I still don't completely understand
why she was using the darkness.
Why she was using the darkness, and why that
agreed.
was so bad, and why all the other magicians were so angry with her, and was she...
Yeah, because she wasn't using it for evil. Yeah.
Yeah, that I still don't understand. It was
fair.
confusing to me.
That's fair.
I love Benedict Cumberbatch, but I don't love I didn't love that movie.
Yeah, that's fair. It's not that much higher for me. You'll see where it is. But again, like, it's killing your darlings to rank these movies. Like, they're so... Any one of these you watch, you're going to have a good time. Unless it's Captain Marvel and you hate her. Then it's not fun. Like, okay. All right. Let's move up. Like, you know. Like I said, this would be long. You were warned. Okay, yeah, you go. 15 through 11.
15, okay, I have Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay.
Ant-Man and the Wasp makes it... I love Evangeline Lilly, so Ant-Man and the Wasp makes it a little higher for me.
I can nod along to that. Good.
Number 14, Avengers Ultron. Number 13, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Okay.
12 is Black Panther. I know that's going to be real controversial.
We'll see, actually.
11, I have Thor Ragnarok.
Wow. Okay. This is good. All right. So 15 for me is Guardians of the Galaxy 1. 14 is Iron Man 3. So I'm surprised. 13 is Doctor Strange. 12 is Black Panther.
Wow.
And 11 is Thor for me.
The first Thor.
Yes. Thor
wow.
number 1. So Black Panther's in the same spot. Yeah. But that's what I said. Like my top 10, I can't push someone around. And like even putting Thor at 11 was hard for me because I mean if you saw my video, he's my second favorite. But it's not from the first Thor movie that he's your favorite from. Yeah. Like it's not.
And I think the first Thor and the second Thor get dropped down for me because I love Thor so much in Ragnarok and the new Avengers movies. Yeah. I love the tweak that they made to his character.
But you just had Ragnarok. Where'd you just put Ragnarok?
But they're a lot higher than
those other two?
The first two.
You have the first two in your bottom 7. Okay. Yeah. For me, I don't know, man. I'm surprised your Iron Man is higher than me. Iron Man 3?
Did I say Iron Man 3?
You didn't?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's still coming.
That's still coming, so I'm like,
I really like Iron Man 3.
It is really good. Like I said, all these are really great for me. Let's see. So, the thing about Black Panther, let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
Totally love that movie.
Great movie.
So good. Mm-hmm. I love all the characters. I'm so excited for more from them. Mm-hmm. Again, to me, it comes back to when it's in the MCU. And at the point we're putting in a new character. This is a lot how I feel about Captain Marvel as well. But if I can extract the hating her part, the fact that we're getting these independent movies so far in, as well as I love T'Challa, but I'm not as connected to him as I am with my main cast of people. And so my top favorites, like all of their movies are in the top for me, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So he's number 12, but it was hard to put him at number 12. Like I had him a lot higher. And then as I'm rewriting my list, I'm like, oh no, I need all these movies to be up here. And then, of course, the movie that I think is both number 1 for us, pushes everything else down 1. Mm-hmm. So that's the same for me why Thor is 11. He would be in the top for me because, as I said, for me, that's Loki's movie to me. Thor 1 and 2, to me, they explore Thor. I love in the first one where he's just so bullheaded. I love that kind of character. He thinks he's being righteous, but really he's just like wants blood. But he thinks he's so cool. So it's like, oh, these people are picking on us. I'm going to go kill them all. And bites off more than he can chew. And then he calls his dad a stupid old man. And I just love that his dad is just like, okay, time for a timeout. And just like, whoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, will possess the powers of Thor. Mm-hmm. Which we might get back to later.
That is a cool part.
And yeah, I love all his time on Earth. When he's a stupid, like, fish out of water.
Another.
Yes, we quote that all the time.
It is
so funny. The assistant in that movie, who's played by Kat Dennings. Oh, yeah. So funny. Really so funny. And I do love, his name isn't Bill, but the Skarsgård. Yeah. What's the dad's name? What's his name?
The scientist?
Yeah. Who plays him?
Stellan
Skarsgård, yeah. He's great. And he's in quite a few movies coming forward, too. Natalie Portman does nothing for me. I wish so bad that was played by someone else. Especially since she just dropped off the face of the earth
I feel like,
afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, anyway. But Thor just holds a place for me. As I said at the beginning of this, it was the first one I saw in theater. My sister and I, yes, we did some ogling of the Hemsworth. Who doesn't? He's perfect. he's perfect. Allie's agreeing. He's looking at her. He's amazing. And I just really like his arc where the powers come from the hammer, but like you still have to have it within you to be a hero. And I really like what that does because he was just given that hammer, right? Like there's no, I mean, I don't know Norse mythology, so whatever. But I mean, like he's the god of thunder. He has the hammer. But I like that you have to be worthy of it. And I like that he proves it. But yeah, I mean, obviously I do like when they let him be funny later on. Like, that's where Chris Hemsworth belongs. But I think he has some great serious moments. And his scenes, like, with Loki and Loki's scenes with his father. Like I said, for me, Thor 1 is, like, it's about Loki. And his scenes with his dad where he's just like, you kidnapped me, I could have belonged somewhere, and instead I'm just your second-rate son here instead of a prince somewhere else. And his dad's like, I loved you. Like, what do you want? Like, I saved you, and I loved you, and I love that. And I love scenes with his mom. And so that's why it's up so high, is it's a Loki thing for me, not a Thor thing.
Sure.
Why it's up there.
Can we talk about, I'm surprised at how low you have Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one.
Sure. We can talk about that.
And I have Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yes.
Pretty low. I definitely like the first one better than the second one, but you like the second one better.
Which I'll save why I like the second one better when I get there, but I'll tell you why I like this one less. And for me, I like established teams a little better. I know that sounds weird. I don't know. And I don't really like some of them as individuals until they're together. So that's why the second one is the favorite for me, because I like that group dynamic. Like, Rocket's funny, but I don't really love him until he's with those people and they're his tribe. And I think that the Ronin storyline's really annoying to me. It's a funny film, but to me, the whole film goes off the rails at the end when they have the dance off. Like, it makes an enjoyable movie. Again, I love it. I love rewatching it. But it was just too goofy for me at the end. And the fact that, like, oh, you're strong enough to hold the stones with your friend. Oh, that's cute. But now we know later on, too, that it's probably not because of his friends that he was strong enough. It's probably because he's a god.
Right.
Half god that he could do it.
Right.
So anyway, it's not a slam on it. It's just that I love some themes in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which I will talk about when we get there, better.
I think it's interesting that your quibble with the first Guardians is that it was a little too goofy, and my quibble with the second Guardians is it got a little too dark in spots. And maybe that's because I'm...
Hello, darkness, my old friend. That's for you, Tony. Not Tony Stark. We have a friend named Tony. Anyway.
I hope you're watching this.
You better, or it's awkward. Anyway.
Okay.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just because I'm kind of just a softie, and I don't know. I don't...
Okay, I'm pretty sure I know what your number 2 movie is, and it's about as dark as it gets.
I don't know if I would... Okay,
so
specifically thinking of the part where the Yondu's pirates or whatever are getting, like, there's the mutiny, and they're, like, throwing them out into space to, like... That's dark. Yeah, I was, like...
They're bad guys.
I was, like, 27 years old, but... What?
Marvel kills bad guys all the time.
Yeah, but that was so... I don't know. I was just sitting there, like, this is hard to watch, you know? I felt... It gave me anxiety sitting in the theater.
Oh,
you know?
okay.
It was like,
okay,
millennial. It just got a little. It got a little. Kids watch this stuff, and me.
Yeah, it's for Guardians of the Galaxy 1 for me. It's the way it got goofy, because I say Thor is very goofy. Ragnarok, which I have higher than you have it, I think. Right? You just put it in this section. Let's see what else. What else did we talk about? Oh yeah, I have Iron Man 3. I'm actually surprised I put it lower, because when it came out, well, obviously it was my favorite. The newest Marvel movie is always your favorite when it comes out. But I just ended up on rewatch of that one. It doesn't hold up the same way. Where, like, my top ones, like, they're ones I could rewatch them ad nauseum, and I wouldn't get sick of them. And that one, the more I've watched it, the more I'm really, really annoyed by the Mandarin switch. I'm not a huge fan of it. I am a huge fan of Pepper. I'm a huge fan of, you know, Tony, and I love his anxiety and things like that, and that is something in him that I love later on in his character. And I love the kid. I love a lot of things about it, but it was just, when I was listing these out, it just kept getting pushed down and down, because the way I made my list too is, as I wrote it, I then compared them to each other to see if I would move it up. And it just ended up staying below Doctor Strange, because This was Iron Man's like 5th outing, I think. And I don't know. But I love it. I mean, I love Tony. If Tony's in it, you'll notice a pattern too that every movie with Tony has Tony in it, like from now on, basically.
Okay.
I'm a bit
Tony's
biased.
great. I mean, he's not as good as Cap, but
He's wrong. He's wrong.
Okay.
Okay. Any others in these? What else did you have? Did we talk about all of yours?
Yeah, Guardians 2, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 10 through 6.
10 through 6. Number 10, Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Okay.
Number 9, I have Spider-Man Homecoming.
Ooh. Okay.
Number 8, Iron Man 3.
Nice. Okay.
Number 7, Captain America: The First Avenger. Full 10 spots higher than you. And let's see, number 6, Avengers: Infinity War.
Okay. All right. My number 10. Oh gosh, I'm like literally afraid to say this. Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Number 9.
I'm out.
No,
Can't do
he's
this.
not. Okay. No, we'll talk about it in a second. Number 9, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Number 7, Avengers: Age of Ultron. Number 6, Spider-Man. Oh wait, I skipped number 8. Number 8 is Thor Ragnarok. Number 7 is Avengers: Age of Ultron. And number 6 is Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Avengers: Age of Ultron. Number 7? Ultron higher than Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Absolutely for me.
That's ridiculous.
Because guess who? Vision.
Yeah, Vision's great.
Vision. Okay, let's talk about it. Now I'll tell you why I like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 better. Okay? It is the Yondu plotline for me. Because I love dads. And I love the line where like Quill's going through this crisis of who he is. And he had a bad relationship with Yondu. But Yondu has always taken care of him until they have their falling out, which we never see. And Yondu, being a space pirate scavenger, has to, you know, cut off his kid. But I feel like he never really meant it. And I think that's even more clear in the second one. And I love when Quill finds out that his father is a planet who purposely gave his mother a brain tumor. What? And then when he says he may be your father, but he wasn't your daddy. Oh, and also he's Merle from Walking Dead, and I love him. Anyway.
You shouldn't have killed my mom and squished my walk.
Oh.
That movie does have a lot of great lines.
It's so good. And I love when like Yondu and Rocket get paired together, and he's like, those two are so similar, and he's just like, you're chasing people away. These people love you, and you're purposely being mean to them, which is just so cool to me. I love Baby Groot. I love what Gamora's going through. Gamora and Nebula, so good. I feel so much for Nebula, so much for her, and really too that comes through in Endgame as well. Is that she has such an abusive father, and she just wants his approval so badly. So even taking away that we like know who her dad is and that he's a homicidal maniac, no matter how he tries to paint it, that's what he is. She wants his approval so bad. And like her sister, the person who should have been like her helper, just kept beating her and making this happen to her. And granted, it's still Thanos' fault. Thanos is the one doing it. But I feel like you can't blame Nebula for taking that out on her. The fact that she's not even like human anymore because of what he did to her. And I think it just really, the relationship of that sets up Infinity War so well. And yeah, but mostly it's the Yondu stuff. Like I bawled when he got his funeral, and Sai was there to do it. Like, oh my gosh, when they said you'll never get the funeral, and then they come back and do it, and you realize how special it is and why that would have been a bad thing to lose, because of how precious it is. And that like the Sean Gunn character, James's Gunn's brother, he's like crying and like, yeah, they're doing it for him. Oh my gosh, it was spit everywhere. Yeah, they're doing it for him. And it's just, it made me cry so much. And when Quill gets to be there for it and realize, yeah, he was my daddy. Oh, it's just.
Yeah, there's a lot of good arcs in that movie. I love the Rocket and Yondu.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honestly, Quill is not, it's funny because I put Quill so high on my like rankings. I was talking with Allie before. I feel like I would move him down because there's so many people that I like better than him now. After rewatching all the movies, I was like, oh. I mean, he's great, but anyway. Okay, you pick what you want to talk about now.
Iron Man 3. High for me.
Tell me about that.
I guess I've heard other people complain about we thought Ben Kingsley, everyone was excited for Ben Kingsley to be this, Sir Ben Kingsley.
Yes.
Sorry, sir. If you're watching. To be this like really epic villain, to really go toe to toe with Tony, and I was excited for that too. But I guess it doesn't bother me what they did with that.
Sure.
Because I thought it was funny enough that he's a drunken...
My name is Trevor. I'm an actor. They pay me. I do totally
to
agree.
make
Totally
Sir
agree.
Ben Kingsley a drunken actor, it was really funny. And then the Guy Pearce villain was good, and Pepper's come back at the end where she knocks him out and just makes me cheer every time.
That was really violent. Oh, I love her. Sorry.
And then the Tony dynamic with the kid is just so...
I love it.
Yeah, just so enjoyable to watch.
I love him. Yep. I mean, I love him. I love... One of the things I never tire of, and it happens the most in Iron Man films, is his quips. Mm-hmm. Where he's one of those fast talkers, and just like the way he talks to people. I really love... Oh, I love so much. Yeah. I love so much how he talks to people. And we're getting there too. Oh, no, I did just mention Spider-Man Homecoming is my number 6. I love him in that movie so much, where we're only getting little, snips of him, but he really is, parenting this kid. Yeah. But, not doing it super well. But just his, quick quips with the dude of, okay, you're in time around under ruse, go home, and, all these things. And
right. And I think it reveals so much about Tony's character in Spider-Man Homecoming. You can see, oh, this is the kind of dad that Tony had, and he's just kind of repeating that cycle of being,
hard on you.
Harsh and demanding, and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But believing in you so much. That's one of the things I didn't, so much to talk about. It's really hard. In Iron Man 2, he sees those videos of his dad. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
And it's just on some B-roll of one of the videos where he says, Tony, you're going to be the one to figure out this kind of energy, this clean energy. And, little Tony is running around in the background, and he's really, mean to him. So Tony sees that first, but then he's his dad believed in him so much. And he believed that being a tough dad...
Right.
would do that, which I feel was that generation, though, just in general.
Yeah. Captain America: The First Avenger.
Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Okay.
You talk about yours
I'm going
first.
to talk about The First Avenger.
Okay.
I think it ranks highly for me because I love World War II. I love Captain America.
That's your lowest rated Captain America.
It is.
At what?
7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spoilers for what's coming next.
I love Captain America, the character. I love Stanley Tucci's character.
Yes. Oh gosh, so good.
So good. I want a whole movie just about him.
Stanley Tucci is a king. Let's be real.
He's one of my favorite actors.
When have you seen him phone it in? Ever.
I know. Everything he's in, he's just I can't take my eyes off this guy. He's so entertaining.
Yeah. He's in the Hunger Games for 5 minutes total. Best part of that movie.
Yeah.
Best part of it.
So great. I just watched The Terminal last night.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's so good. And he's in it.
He's so good.
Yeah. Also, I love World War II things. And so I think that I'm kind of going back to what Jenn was saying about the soldiers, or my grandpa fought in World War II, and he's a Marine, and so I kind of grew up hearing lots of those stories, and so I don't know, there's a little bit of some sort of nostalgia factor for me.
Not to be, you'll know this, but which is he for the art? Which branch is Captain? Is it the Army?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I meant to check when I was watching it, and then it just went in my head. But, okay.
Yeah. But I love 40s theme. I love World War II history, and so it gets bumped up. And I'm not blind to the quibbles with that movie, because there are some. But I just really enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you might as well plug your favorite friendship of the MCU, too.
Captain Bucky. Yeah. I love.
That'll be a theme going forward.
Bucky.
See, he was totally not gonna talk about it.
My boy.
All right, and I had the Winter Soldier at 10, which he's gonna have problems with, because
I hope I'm not the only one that has a problem with that. If you have a problem with that, please comment, because
No.
We need to show ourselves strong.
And here's why. I don't know. It's hard to talk about why. Because, again, these are my top. It's number 10 for me. It's good. My dad and I rewatched that when he was here. And, like, the biggest, like, few things, like, my dad was saying the whole time through, which I was suppressing because I was going into it. I know it's, spoiler, one of your favorites. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go into this with fresh eyes. I just watched the first Avenger, seen Bucky die, was like, okay, this is the time. I'm going to watch this one right after. And, like, halfway in, I'm like, dude's a terrorist. Dude's a terrorist. And my dad's like, why don't they just shoot that guy in the head? Why don't they just kill him? Why don't they just get rid of him? And my dad doesn't know. You know, he didn't know who it was. And I was like, well, Dad, there's a reason why not. And he's just like, I don't care. This guy's you know, he's just going off on it. And, like, I feel that, even though, of course, I can get emotional about it, too. But I'm like, the dude kills so many people. And I know that it's brainwashed, but still, it's him doing it. And if he's a weapon that can be used that way, I have a problem with it. Because there's a person underneath it, but as we'll see in a later movie, he can easily be turned back again, and then we'll just keep killing whoever that person tells him to. So I have a problem with it. Not so much so that I'm like, I hate this movie and I hate Bucky. That's just my big problem with the movie is, and something I feel like Cap himself kind of even... Okay, sorry, had to reset the camera. We're back again, talking about Bucky. Yeah, I don't know. It's just hard to articulate because I feel all those same things. I love Sebastian Stan. I think his acting's amazing. I love that, I saw someone talk about too, I love that Bucky's the arm and Cap is the shield. And in that film, like, there's this really powerful arm that's just beating people up and Cap is the shield protecting the people from him. And I really like that. As well as metaphorically, him being the only good shield in S.H.I.E.L.D. That's called S.H.I.E.L.D. I love Nick Fury's parts in that movie. Love Black Widow's parts in that movie. But I didn't like that the doctor person, like, it was an AI who was doing Hydra still. Like, those are my, like, little problems. Anyway, so my little quibbles with that are enough for me that it's not in my top 5. But I still really love it. And I'm really glad I rewatched it because I did have a good time. Anyway.
Yeah, can I talk about Infinity War just a little bit?
Yeah, where do you have Infinity War?
Number 6. So just barely. And I love Infinity War. I think the only reason it gets knocked down, two reasons it gets knocked out of the top 5 for me. Number 1 is the rewatchability isn't quite there because the ending is so sad. And number 2, it's sad and it also loses its punch because you know that they're all coming back. I mean, as soon as the movie ended, the first time I saw it, I was like, well, you know they have to redo this. You know, it's still a great movie. I love Thanos. I love how powerful they made Thanos. I mean, you had all these amazing superheroes and they came up with a character that made you feel like, I don't know how they're going to beat him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even they made Thanos...
well, it's his movie.
It is. It's his movie.
It's his movie. He has an arc and he wins at the end. He's a hero.
Yeah.
Of his story. Yeah.
Yeah. And they made him a complete villain. You can understand his motivations even if you don't agree with them.
Yeah.
He wasn't just black and white straight evil.
Honestly, if he wasn't a child abuser, I would love him. He's a child. Well, I just talked about it. He abused his children.
Yeah.
Why'd you just make it worth it? He's a child abuser.
You just said that you love him. I mean,
I do. I think he's
murder half the...
Well, I know, but I would love him the same. Like Loki wanted everyone to bow to him. I love Loki. You know, I'm always looking for a good villain to ship, man. Like you gotta.
It's like a different level.
I don't know. I love villains, so you guys know that. If you're on my Booktube channel, I love villains.
Should we do top 5?
No, because I need to talk about Age of Ultron because it's my number 7. As you'll have noticed, this is the first, his lowest Captain America is a 6. My lowest Avenger movie is a 7. So, Age of Ultron is amazing to me. It is so cool because it brought all our heroes back together. It's got that cool action shot. I love the things happening with Hulk and Natasha. I love the things with Hawkeye's family. I love the things with the Wanda, what's Wanda's last name? Romanoff is Natasha, but the twins, I love them. I love Hawkeye's like thing with Quicksilver that ends in tragedy. One of the first like Marvel characters that gets really killed, like besides like villains and stuff. I love Vision.
Yeah.
Oh, and also Paul Bettany is so good. I love his like wide-eyed wonder. I love when he like copies Thor. I love when people test out Thor's hammer for the first time, which if you rewatch that scene, have you rewatched it yet? You should, because we watched it and he's faking. Captain America is totally faking. I'll show you the clip when we're done filming. But Dylan and April and I watched it last night. He literally is faking. And like, I know they planted that because in the comics he wields it later on. So I feel like they're like, we don't know if we'll use this, but we want you to fake it because you might. Like, he fakes it, y'all. And that makes that movie even better for me because Cap is such a sweetheart in that moment. He's like, I'm not going to show up Thor. This is all he's got going for him. This is such a hot mess. That's okay. Yeah, and I love Wanda's like explaining why she hates Tony. I think it's a good reason, even though it's not, because it's the same thing from Iron Man 1. Like, he wasn't selling those to people. Like, people were, it's from back then when that was happening, and he's changed who he is. I love that, again, Tony's trying to do something to save the world. Like, he makes mistakes doing this. That's why, to me, he, as a whole, he's such a great character, is he's trying things to make the world a better place. He's just dealing with really powerful things. So that's why it's like risky that he does that, because you're dealing with AIs that can kill everyone. But yeah, I mean, Ultron, not the most compelling villain. Anyway, Ultron doesn't really do it for me, but I love everything else that's happening. I love any of the movies where the Avengers are working together, as you're about to see. Yeah. Also, Thor Ragnarok is number 8 for me. And Spider-Man Homecoming is number 6 for me, because Peter Parker is the most enduring thing. And we both talked. Vulture's hit your favorite villain besides...
Yep. I love
so
Vulture. And I love Michael Keaton in that.
Yep. And I love Zendaya in that. I know she didn't get to do much. I hope she gets to do more later on. I love Zendaya. So, I love Peter Parker. Like I said, I love Tony in it.
I love Peter's friend, the guy in the chair.
Yeah.
I love like... Bro, I mean, that's maybe why I love Captain Bucky so much. So
he loves bro things.
I love bro things.
That's cool. Bro things are great. Yeah, okay. I think that's it. We better get on to it. I've messed this video up so many times. I'm gonna do it again because I moved this when I touched it. We'll do our top 5 now. Oh, snap. All right. I know what yours are now.
Number 5, the original Iron Man.
Really? Oh my gosh, okay. Yay!
Number 4 is the first Avengers. Number 3 is Captain America Civil War. Okay. And number 2, Captain America Winter Soldier. Number 1 is Avengers Endgame.
Our top 5 are almost exactly the same.
I thought...
They ended up almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5 is Iron Man. Number 2 or 4 is Avengers original. Wow. Number 3 is Avengers Infinity War. Number 2, Captain America Civil War. And number 1, Avengers Endgame.
Wow.
Yeah.
We don't have anything we agree too much.
Well, it's over.
This is supposed to be more contentious.
Yeah. Well, I want to know why Iron Man's so high for you, because you always give me such a hard time. Iron Man's amazing.
I love Iron Man, and I love the first Iron Man, and I love Tony Stark, and he's not as good as Captain America. And that's why we argue about it all the time. I never said I hate Iron Man. I love Iron Man. Not as much as Captain America.
I don't like perfect boys, and that's why I don't like Captain America. Is he's too perfect? I hate that. Okay. But we've argued about that before, too. So.
But the thing that I love about it, I mean, I don't know how to, like, say this exactly, but Robert Downey Jr. is just so cool. Everything he does.
Cool. He is like, Iron Man.
He is so cool.
Like, he has the A for Avengers Tower, like, at his house. Like, Kevin Feige, like, let him have it.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool? Yeah.
And everything that he does, you're just like, I can't take my eyes. He's just entertaining to watch.
He's
in
so
a way
good.
that I will admit, Chris Evans and Captain America isn't.
Yeah.
I just like the Cap
Yeah.
character a little bit better.
No, and I agree with you that you love it. I will say, I didn't need to rewatch Iron Man for this, but I was like, oh, if I'm going to start my rewatch, I'll start with Iron Man. I cried at the non-painful things. Just because to watch him, like, creating this, and, like, the MCU is on his shoulders going forward from here. Like, even though, Cap is the first Avenger chronologically, like, Tony really gets the ball rolling of them getting this set up, and I love the character arc that starts in this movie and ends in Endgame. Oh, God. Ends cried together for a minute. Oh my God.
Oh, he ends.
Oh gosh. So I was sitting by Jonathan when we went to this movie, and like I was sitting by him and one of our other friends who like doesn't know me as well. And so I'm like hardcore like crying. And I like didn't look to my left or right because I'm sure Casey was making faces at me because I'm like over here just like ugly crying.
Dry heat.
But to me it was everything like these top 5 movies, I feel that Tony has a significant part in every single one of them.
Yeah.
I loved it. Obviously love to hate it. I love the fight in Civil War. Not just actually the fight, but just that both sides of this argument have legitimates. Mm-hmm. Cap has just seen how an organization could be rotted from the inside out. How it could take down a country and kill. In that movie, they try to kill 3 million people, I think is the point of Captain America. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, I don't want anyone else to be in charge of us but us. Whereas like Tony is like, guys, we are fighting off evil, we're saving Earth, but we're leaving destruction in our wake. And the everyday people, like, they need to be our priority. And so I just think that, and we've talked about this, there wouldn't be a movie if they did this. But the thing for me that bugs me the most is I'm like, can't you just sit down and like talk through the accords, right? Which is my dream.
Just take a breath.
Yeah. Instead of capping like, can't sign it, I want him to be like, okay, like, these are the things I agree with. These are the things that I don't. Which, that would be a boring film. I get it. But to me, that's what's so frustrating about that movie, even though it's my number 2. It's my favorite. Is that the whole thing to get them to fight each other is really frustrating to me. Because I'm like, these people love each other.
Right.
They wouldn't do this.
But it also, I mean, that's what makes that movie so powerful is they all love each other and they disagree. And I think, I don't know, I think we can all like identify with that because we all have people in our lives that we love and
disagree with them? What are you talking about? Yeah, and I mean, no one can like have sat through the fight at the end of Civil War and not just be so moved that this is happening. Because I understand Cap's side. Hard to say, where it's like, no, my friend has been like brainwashed, this isn't his fault, what he did. But then the fact that like Cap knew, that's what hurts me, is the fact that like Cap knew, and to not like care enough about Tony to find a way to tell him, because there's never even a thing where he was like trying to tell him. He's just like, oh, we're gonna keep it a secret and hope he never finds out, when of course he's gonna find out. To me, it would be completely different if Cap had been like, hey, Tony, I wanna, and something interrupted him. Or he's like, actually, I need to have a conversation with you, and they get interrupted or something like that. But he's never gonna tell. He just puts his allegiance to Bucky above everyone else's and causes this rift in the Avengers instead of like, if he had been loyal to Tony and Bucky, they could have figured it out and not had that fight. Because Tony's a reasonable person, Yeah. So, yes, he is.
Is he, though?
Yes, he is. He's a reasonable person.
So,
he solves time travel. He's a reasonable person.
Genius. Not always
okay.
Reasonable.
What else?
Go ahead. Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I know. It was his number 1 until 4 days ago.
Until Endgame, it was my number 1. I love that in that movie, Cap has like the exact perfect amount of like powers, I guess. I feel like in the first Captain America, he was kind of like just a really amazing athlete, and then they made him like actually a superhero. And
Okay.
and I love the opening sequence where they're on the ship and he like single-handedly takes down all these guys. It's just so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
There's just so many moments in that movie where I just like it. Yeah, when you want to like stand up and when the elevator. Does anyone want to get out?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that's what movies are, and I just get so pumped watching it.
Yeah. Well, and the fight at the end of that one is just brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. It
and
hurts
you have
so
all
much.
the bro stuff, and I feel so much for Captain that he's trying so hard to be loyal to this friend that he loves, and he has to be loyal to saving the world because that's his job.
Yeah.
You know, that conflict is just, it's, you know, so interesting to watch. And
Yeah, it's great.
It's great.
Okay, yeah, I mean, let's talk about Endgame for a bit. I don't know anyone who puts any movies above that anymore. Like, it's so good. Like, I'm just in awe of that movie. What it does for so many different characters. It's really hard to articulate it, even though I've been talking about it nonstop for 4 days.
I think also, you know, maybe after 4 or 5 rewatches, because we've both only seen it once, so maybe after we rewatch it a few times, we'll find something to quibble about. But I've only seen it once,
quibbles.
and I loved every second of it. And there's nothing that I would change. And there's so many moments, especially at the end, where I was just watching and I was like, that was
He was like
perfect.
in his seat, like up like this.
Yeah.
The whole time.
The Hail Hydra moment when Cap says Hail Hydra. Oh my gosh, I lost it.
Yep.
And then, the Avengers Assemble moment. I probably like practiced saying that out loud like 50 times.
Because that's never actually been said.
Exactly.
It was just like when the first Avengers came out, it was something that they like text to each other when they would hang out. So it was an off-screen thing.
Oh,
like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
actually.
Chris Evans, he would tell them the bar to meet at, and he'd be like, Avengers, assemble. And so it was this thing that you're like, they can never actually say that. And then it's like, yes, we can, because this is a fan service movie, and we don't care. And like, so the couple things, because I've watched a lot of reviews now of it, and you can never do time travel right. You can't. So I love that in the movie they were like, it doesn't work like this, or this. So shut up and just enjoy what we're about to feed you. Mm-hmm. And I was happy to do that. I'm totally happy to do it. Mm-hmm. And because I'm a theorist and I like talking about movies, I'm probably going to pick it apart someday. But it never for 1 second will take the enjoyment level out of it.
Right.
It will never take away the just like gut-wrenching moments that happen in that film.
And I think just the sheer challenge of having all of these characters in this one film and to just come out with something that made sense and enjoyable, that would be a feat. But to make it as entertaining and action packed and emotional as they did, just so impressive.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. I mean, of course, for me, this being the wrap-up of my favorite character, probably one of my favorite characters in film ever. I'll go ahead and say that. I can't think of too many that, top Tony Stark for me. I can't. And so, for me, he, of everyone, really had it the best after the snap. He still got to be with the love of his life. They had a kid he dreamed about, but Tony can't live just for himself. And I feel like he maybe was telling himself that in the 5 years that I fought all these fights, I've done Earth good, and I'm gonna sit out of this, and of course that was never gonna happen, and I love that Pepper even knows that, even though, in previous films, she would always call him oh, don't do that, that's stupid, just mind your own bit, she was more like that, and she just knows the man that she loves, and she knows that if, he's gonna have to do it. And in a way, I feel like she was biding her time, too, of, how long am I gonna keep him for before he has to do something about this. And so I love that, and I love that, there are at least 4 other Avengers who could have done that and lived. I was counting them out. I was Thor's head wasn't in the right spot, but he could have survived it. Captain America could have survived it. Captain Marvel could have survived it. And
Jen's like, unfortunate.
And probably Peter Quill could have survived it. Not have been like in perfect health, but that's not who it was meant to be. It was meant to be Tony, because he was meant to give everything to this, you know. And yeah, I just love that like Pepper knew what to say, that he wouldn't be able to rest until he knew everyone was safe. And then, you know, that's what she said. She's like, we're all okay, you can rest. And I just love it because it's symbolic of these 22 movies that he's been around and making tech for people and trying to do things and supporting people and making, you know, making fancy armor and doing all these things. But what he really cared about was the people. And he did that. And so for me, it was like the perfect wrap up for him.
Yeah. And his line at the end, I am Iron Man.
Iron
To
Man,
bring it
oh
all
my
the way back to the first Iron Man, just so perfect. So
Like
perfect.
I was not prepared for that. So yeah, I wasn't. For him to say that, like Thanos the younger thinks he's so cool and is all like, oh yeah, I got this.
Yeah,
And when the
yeah,
gauntlet was
so well.
facing, you know, it's facing us, I was like, ooh. I mean, obviously it's not gonna work because he's not gonna kill us all, but I was like, ooh. And then he like turns it around and you're like, oh yeah. But then like as soon as I saw them on Tony's hand, you're like, oh, we saw what it did to Bruce Banner.
Right. Yeah. Which,
Hulk,
speaking
like-
of things that I loved, Professor Hulk,
Yeah.
loved every second of that.
Yeah.
Bruce Banner, underrated.
He's great. I hope he gets to do more.
Yeah.
That's one of the tones that, like, I know at times they were trying to make this light like other things, but him in the diner was one thing I liked. I enjoy it, but I was like, this is tonally really
no, I
sucky
loved it.
for me.
I
For
loved
me, because I'm a bit.
All the gratuitous smashing.
Well, he was like, this feels really gratuitous when he has to take his clothes back off. Make sure you smash something. It was great, but yeah. Why don't you talk about Cap's ending?
Yeah, I just, you know,
He's your favorite.
I'm glad that only one of them, because I was going in, I was expecting that actually
They would all die.
of the old Avengers would die, or at least Tony and Cap would have to, you know, sacrifice themselves together.
Black Widow.
Black Widow does, yeah.
That hurt, but
Moment of
it's
silence.
not quite the same. But it does hurt.
Right, and I'm glad that they did that far enough apart in the movie that they could both have their own moment, you know?
Yeah.
But I thought it was so, you know, we just went through all that with Tony, and then to have Cap have, you know, a send-off that was happy and exactly what you would want for that character and for Peggy.
Yeah.
And
Bucky knew what he was gonna do. Like I love that he told him, because Bucky knew he wasn't coming back.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I got that.
Oh yeah, because Sam, like when he hugs Bucky and he gets on it, and then he's like, see you in 5 seconds, and Cap's like, yeah, and when he disappears, Bucky's like standing like this, and when he doesn't come back in 5 seconds and Sam's freaking out, he's nodding before he like sees him over there. So, but he told Bucky.
Oh yeah, I missed that.
So,
Yeah.
fun
Oh,
things
that's
to
great.
discover on the
That's
rewatch,
great.
but you
That's
know,
great. Yeah.
so
Yeah, and then I love that Sam, and I think this is something we disagree on, but
no, I actually don't anymore,
okay,
because it goes back to the fact that the Winter Soldier is a terrorist.
right. I think
So,
Bucky had done
He's good
too
now,
much.
but
He's done too much
Yeah.
evil to take up the mantle of Captain America, but
Yeah.
Sam is
he is one. Yep.
you know, he's ready to be Captain America through and through. He's a soldier. He's
Yep.
you know, all the way good, like Captain America should
He is.
be, and in
Yeah.
a way that Bucky isn't.
Yeah. And the new show will be called Captain America and the Winter Soldier. And they had
I'm
it named
so
as
ready for
Falcon. Yeah, they had it named Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but that was like a decoy because didn't want you to think that it'd be Captain America. But yeah, I'm trying to think of any other details. I mean, this is gonna be long. Like I said,
Thanks
trying
for
to
sticking with us.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's so many things, but those are the biggest things for me. I mean, I also really like Thor. I'm glad he's not gone.
So excited for Asgardians
So
of the Galaxy.
so excited. So
Great
excited.
idea. I
Well, that was
cannot
a
wait
joke.
to see Thor and Peter Quill do their.
You're in charge. You're in charge. Hey.
Yeah.
No, but you're in charge. Yeah. Oh, so good.
Of course you are.
Well, and I think everyone agrees too. Like, I was just talking with one of my friends today, and she was mad that Thor didn't like get back to normal.
No.
And I was like, girl, that would have been so bad if he could just magic his fat away. Like, what message is that sending? I loved it. I love that when his armor came back on, he's got a dad bod. Like, it's great. And I love that he had panic attacks, and that the reason he can't do the snap is because, like, you have to mentally be there too. Like, that's why the Hulk does it originally, because Thor would survive it too.
Yeah.
But he mentally is too broken, and I love that he gets to talk with his mom. Probably like the only mom in the MCU. Besides, like, I mean, Aunt May, but she's not a mom.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Like
there's
no
a
moms.
few dads, but there's not any moms, and I love that she just is like, okay, number one, obviously it's not your son, because she just saw you earlier in the day, and you didn't have a sweatshirt on, a tracksuit.
Yeah.
He wears a velvet tracksuit in one scene. Did you see that? Around the Avengers compound when he's wearing a velvet tracksuit. Oh my god, I can't. But when he's like, no, I'm not from the future. She's like, I was raised by a witch, sweetie, I am. And he's like, okay, can I talk to you, please? Like, I love that he chose to talk to her, because of course they could have had him talk to Jane, but I mean, that would have totally not fit.
No.
Because he's fat and weird, and not because he's fat that he can't talk to her, but because he's like mentally all just like a totally different person than she saw 5 seconds ago. But that he needed his mom to give him a pep talk, because we all need it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. We did have the same 22 and the same number 1. Some big quibbles in the middle, but yeah, I mean, thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah.
So
You're
much
welcome.
fun.
It was fun.
Maybe we'll do movie things again, because like I said, he doesn't read. He's been working on Chamber of Secrets for like 3
like
months.
at least. I'm still in like chapter 6.
Anyway, it's cool. But anyway, we'll wrap this up. Thank you if you made it this whole way through. I know this isn't the normal kind of stuff that I make. And I make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And you can watch some more of them right now. Bye.
Bye.
Say bye.